sweetgeorgiapam.com is the website where you can find out all about Pam. Welcome to the podcast if you're new. And if you've been binging it, thank you so much. I have a question for Pam today. We'll talk about what she has on her website here in a minute, sweetgeorgiapam.com on social media. But I'm fascinated by my Fitbit. Okay. They are not a sponsor, but people either have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, right? Usually.
Yeah.
And the fascinating thing that I think people use it for is to analyze their sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will every morning, I don't know if I should be doing it, but it's like, and I don't know how accurate it is, right? I don't know how accurate, just something on your wrist is, but still in the morning, I'm curious, how did I sleep? And then it will map out the different, how much REM sleep I got, how much light sleep I got, how much deep sleep I got, how many times I was awake. And I thought of you because I'm thinking, is it REM? I always understood REM sleep is where you have dreams. And so if I don't remember my dreams, I'll look at the REM and say, well, maybe I didn't have enough REM sleep and maybe that's why I didn't dream or at least remember my dream. So I'm like overdoing it without any kind of background in analyzing it at all. So I thought, well, you have done an incredible amount of research and you have certification in different things. So help me understand about my sleep. And is it just in REM sleep that dreams happen?
Oh, it's like the Fitbit is the thing that, a map of your sleep is the thing you didn't know you needed till you saw it and then you needed it.
Well,
They're giving us a map of our sleep
look,
patterns,
dude,
and it's like, what does that even look like?
I don't know
But
if it makes me panic too, because I don't know if you have one, but like if you don't get good sleep, it doesn't even give you that whole graph. Like if you got
oh no,
terrible sleep, you get a different graphic. And it basically says there wasn't enough information for us to use. Like it's just either awake or asleep. Like you get these bars. And
wow.
so when I get those, if there's nights where, and it's been a while, but like if my son has been up sick or
Mm-hmm,
something and I've been up
mm-hmm.
and I just get little incremental sleep and I'll get that bar, I panic like, oh my God, I didn't sleep. So anyway, so yes, I
Now
think
you're
people
trying
are
to be
obsessed
like
with it.
the good student in your sleep and like do the
Yes.
healthy habit. I gotta go sleep. I gotta get the right.
Yes. I want to get my
So
graph. I want to get the proper graph.
I don't have one currently. I have had one in the past and used it for maybe a few weeks. So I know I know what the readouts are, and I also really enjoyed it when I had it. Um, I don't use one now, but and I do think okay, so first of all, let me say what I'm not on this particular episode. I am not the sleep scientist. I am not certified in sleep um, you know, wisdom.
Right. You're, but in
I know
dreams,
dreams. I know the
yes.
language of the dreaming mind and
Right.
metaphors, but I do. But you're right. Like the organizations that I belong to, the International Association for the Study of Dreams, and spiritual directors. So sometimes there is content that comes up that is sleep related, and I do try my best to stay informed in the era of sleep research. Um, but just take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. I know more about sleep, which I can share with you, um, than probably you do, Melissa. You know
Yes.
enough to be dangerous, right? I know there's a graph. I know
I
they're showing me
right.
a graph. I don't know how
Yes.
to read it. I don't know what. So here's what
Look,
I'll tell.
Pam,
Here's
well,
what I
Pam,
can
and
tell you.
let me say, I mean, we mentioned Fitbit, I mentioned Apple Watch,
Yeah,
but the
yeah,
thing is, like, I know Garamond has something. I know some watchmakers.
sure.
You can have the traditional watch face, and it still has. So it's something that everybody is doing
Yeah.
without firm knowledge of what they're doing and how it
Hmm.
relates to dreams. But it
Hmm.
is, it is prevalent amongst a lot of different technologies that
Yeah.
people are analyzing your sleep.
And sleep health is so critical. It is so critical, like in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So, and the pyramid of what we need, along the very bottom of the pyramid is food, water, shelter, and sleep. So
Hmm.
it's critical. Sleep is critical, and we've got all these, all the technology that's advancing that can show us the health of our sleep. So for sure, it's a great thing to have out there. So let me see what I can add to your knowledge base so that you can have a little bit more of a,
Yay.
move up, move up and graduate to the next grade level of what you know. about
Level up.
sleep.
Level me up, Pam.
So there are 4 or 5, depending on which scientists or researchers, dream researchers, and sleep researchers you speak to. There are 4 or 5 sleep stages. Um, Stage 1 is sleepiness, like I'm awake, I'm getting into bed, I'm closing my eyes, I'm starting to drift. Stage 2 is what they call non-REM light sleeping. Stage 3 is REM sleep, REM, which is the rapid eye movement. And the way they know that is that's when your eyes start to sort of flicker left and right, back and forth. And as your eyes are closed, you can see that, all of the rapid eye movement.
Mm-hmm.
Stage 4 and 5, if there's a fifth stage, are both really deep sleep stages. Okay. Over the course of the night, a normal sleep cycle will start at 1 and go down to 3 and then jump up to 2 and then go to 3 and maybe 4 and then jump back up to 2 or 1 and then go back down. So it's not a 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. And it doesn't steadily go deeper into sleep. Your body cycles through all the stages over the course of the night.
First of all, I'm glad you said that, because when I've seen my my readout, the up and down movement that you find if you have one of these, I remember thinking in my mind as a kid, I always thought you're up, it's like an ocean or a pool. You're at the surface of the water, and as the night goes on, you're slowly, linearly
Mm-hmm.
going down to the bottom, and that's not how
Mm-hmm.
sleep works. So that's in
Right.
itself something
Yes.
that I didn't realize.
That is a normal, appropriate, you know, several hours worth of sleep, is that you cycle through those stages over and over. In general, the stages get a little bit longer so that by the end of the, let's call it 8 hours of sleep, you are staying in, I think it takes like 45 to 90 minutes that you're going through the cycle. So the cycling slows down and lets you stay in those stages longer over the course of the night, in general. Okay. And then dreams, they thought only happened in the REM sleep stage, right? That's when your eyes are moving. It's when your
Yeah, that's what I
activity in your
learned.
brain actually, all of the activity in your brain lights back up and you sort of come back online, but you're still asleep. And so that's when what they have found is it's not the only time that you dream, but it is when your dreams are the most story like.
Okay.
So you have the long, sort of stream dreams that have a setting and characters and sort of a series of actions that kind of make sense. That's in REM sleep, but they've found that in stage 2, mostly in stage 2, that you can have flash dreams or like short snippets of dreams or that seem disconnected from anything else, or memories that are dreamlike. Those can also happen in non-REM sleep.
Okay.
So you
Well, that
can
makes sense, because
dream.
sometimes I'll have a flash dream and then I'll wake right up. Right. So if
Yeah.
it's a light sleep and then I'm waking up, then it's like as I'm passing into the waking world, I have a quick dream.
Yes. Yes. And when you're falling asleep,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people have that startle response.
Yeah.
And sometimes the startle response is preceded by dream imagery or a hallucination or whatever. I think I've talked about my friend who every single night as she's falling asleep, she trips over a bluebird and it startles her awake. Have I not told you about that?
No.
Yeah. She was like, it's every single night, Pam. What does that mean? And I'm like,
Wow.
so anyway, so we talked about, your dreaming mind can form a habit and then it's a signal that she's going to sleep. And anyway,
Tripping over a bluebird. That's the name
yeah,
of a song.
yeah,
So, but it leads me into how important sleep is, like you mentioned earlier, but it also, if you're somebody who really wants to have good dreams
yeah,
and to recall your dreams, I'm assuming in your 6 nights to better dream recall, which is a free guide on sweetgeorgiapam.com, that you explain that, sleeping is important. A good sleep is important to do
right.
just that, to recall your dreams, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So In fact, one of the way, not one of the ways, the way that dream researchers research dreams is they get people into a sleep lab, and once they drop into REM sleep, or if they're in non-REM sleep, if that's what they're studying, they'll wake them up from that state directly and say, what were you just dreaming?
Interesting.
So there's two ways to go about it. One is get better, healthier, longer sleep so that you can experience more opportunities to drop into REM sleep and have those memorable experiences of dreams. That's why people on vacation or on a silent retreat or in some sort of environment where they're encouraged to leave all their stresses behind,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's when people start to remember their dreams, is because they're changing their sleep patterns and getting more and healthier sleep. But the other is the opposite, which is set your alarm to wake yourself up every 45 minutes over the course of the night, and you'll probably capture a dream because you'll pull yourself right out of the REM state.
Well, before we go, I have been a part of that sleep study, but it wasn't a dream study; it was a sleep study.
Okay.
And just to quickly describe it, and to show, how important sleep is, and how I made professional decisions
Mm.
based on my sleep. So I worked in morning radio. If you're not listening from Atlanta, I've worked in morning radio for almost 30 years. So I'd have to get up at 3:30 in the morning. And but you find, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who, if you have a weird schedule, it's hard to get a good sleep because you're nervous about that schedule. Like you're nervous. I got to get to bed at a certain time to get a right amount of sleep for this. And so
Mm.
when I was single, that was easy to do. But when you're dating somebody, it was very hard to date people on that schedule, because it's like, hey, if they want to go out at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, Melissa
Mm.
can't do it. She's got to be in bed, and not only in bed, but everything in the house needs to be quiet. Right. So it was, it was a difficult schedule to keep.
Mhm.
And so myself and another member of the show I was on, we both were having a hard time sleeping, and it was affecting our performance. And so we both were part of the sleep study, where we went to a local hospital, where they had a sleep study section, and it's set up like a bedroom. They have a nice bed, and they make the bedroom look like a normal bedroom. So it's not like this lab or this hospital look. They want you to go to sleep.
Mhm.
The only thing that's weird about it is that you have all these things, when you get, if you've ever had your heart monitored or whatever, the sticky things they put on your chest and stuff.
Yeah.
So I had sticky things on my chest, I had sticky things on my head. I had sticky stuff. I think I had a hat. I had a hat that had sensors
Oh.
with the sticky stuff on my chest, and I'm a side sleeper. So, anyway, that was kind of awkward. And then the other thing that was awkward is when they turn out the lights, there's little red lights, little dots, and those are the cameras, right? So
Oh,
that
jeez.
you're being filmed. However, but other than that, they had a TV in there, they had a sound
Mhm.
machine, music, whatever you needed. Long story short, I was not going into deep sleep hardly at all. And
Oh.
so they had to prescribe me anti-seizure medicine to pull me into deep sleep so that I was getting somewhat healthy sleep.
Oh
So the
my
last
gosh.
couple of years on this particular show, I was taking anti-seizure medicine just to sleep.
Wow.
And that's when I decided, is this the right call?
Oh
Is this
my
the right
gosh.
thing
Yeah.
for my health to have to take this particular medication in order just to get sleep? And so
Well,
I I left that position and went to afternoons, and I got off the medicine immediately, and I immediately was able to have restful sleep because I wasn't nervous about having to get up at 3:30 in the morning.
unbelievable. I mean,
Now
good
that's
for
just
you.
me, right? But
Well, listen, so along the same lines of, like, this is not sponsored, but one of the books that I have read on sleep is called Sleep Revolution, and it is what is her name? Huffington,
yeah,
Huffington.
Ariana Huffington, yes.
So she wrote this book because she also kind of, what you're describing, she kind of had a nervous breakdown crisis and come to find out that it was lack of sleep related. And so she went on a quest to figure out, like, what is the deal with our sleep, and what as a society are we promoting, which
Wow.
is unhealthy sleep habits. But in there, it talks, one of the things that is mentioned in the book is that our sleep medications can put us to sleep or help us come out of sleep or keep us asleep, but they can't, the medications don't control the sleep stages. That
Mm,
is a natural function of your body, and your body will get the stages it needs. So as you start to become sleep deprived, let's say, and then you take a nap one day, you might drop straight into REM sleep and have this long, intensive dream experience because you were lacking that stage. But
right.
just to what you're saying, what you were lacking was that deep sleep,
Yeah.
which stages 4 and 5, that deep sleep, you don't dream, like you don't have that mental activity, you don't have the flashes or any, you're like like comatose, like
Right.
deep sleep. And that's when a lot of the muscle repair and
That's the
healing work
healing.
happens in your
Yes.
body.
That's the healing
So
stage. And I wasn't getting
right.
it.
And you weren't getting it. So I'm glad that you were able to get the medication that would help you catch up on it. But it's just another interesting piece of information that I didn't know until I had read this book, that the medications can help you get or stay asleep, but your body cycles through the way it needs to cycle to reestablish a healthy balance.
Your body's a magical machine. Absolutely. So we'll if you're listening in the show notes, we'll have the name of the book again. And if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have a link down below. And also sweetgeorgiapam.com is where you can find that guide, 6 Nights to Better Dream Recall. Go ahead and get that. Sweet Georgia Pam on social media. My love, thank you so much.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you for that. That was a good question. I like that.